Welcome to the Inside Track on Real Estate. And I'm Ken Decker, and today I've got a real special guest with me, Chris Brown. Chris Brown is the manager, we call him team leader at our office at Keller Williams Solid Rock Realty. Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Good to see you again, Ken, as always. A bit about myself, about 25 plus years in the real estate business. Started out selling, worked at a small independent brokerage to begin with, and then over to one of the large brands.
Okay.
Stayed there for a good while, 10, 15 years. And then from there, discovered Keller Williams. While at Keller Williams, was a player on one of the larger teams there also. We managed to get to number one within the company 2 years in a row. And then went off to start another brokerage there, and then came to meet Ken and Yetta through a mutual acquaintance, and was lucky enough to have an invite to come and work with them. And,
all right. So you just got started in real estate, right?
Yeah,
25
exactly.
years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
a short while.
Okay. So Chris, one of your jobs at the office is to really interview people, see if there's a good match between Keller Williams Solid Rock Realty and that agent or that person who might be just thinking about getting into real estate. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about what it's like to be a real estate agent, because some of our listeners might be going, you know what, I like houses, maybe I should think about getting my real estate license, you know, my kids are getting older, they're going into school, or sometimes it's a second career, sometimes it's a first career.
Yeah.
Sure. Tell us a little bit about what real estate really entails. Give us the real deal.
Sure. Okay. Real estate, as you're well aware, is a wonderful, wonderful occupation. It's a wonderful career. Certain attributes are really, really beneficial in a real estate agent. And first off, you have to have a passion for people. I think that's the ideal starting point. If you genuinely like people, they do pick up on that. And yes. From there, it's a matter of it being almost whatever you really need it to be. There's so many different ways to practice in real estate, but one thing we've found as a common denominator is that passion for people, the desire to want to help and bring value to other people's lives. And it's a wonderfully rewarding career from that perspective. Compensation is also quite generous for those who really apply themselves. And on a day-to-day basis, it entails a certain amount of lead generation, really is the lifeblood of the industry. And that's really just getting in front of people and making them aware of who you are, what you do, what you stand for. And really, it's just finding people who are likely to be on the same wavelength as yourself and believe in the value that you can bring to the process of buying a home. As we've said in the past, it's not so much an event, it is a process. And if you can help lead them through the process, let them feel comfortable, reassured, and really just to educate and help facilitate them in pursuit of their dream, you're going to be wonderfully successful at this. And so at Solid Rock, we've really moved from culture first, and that's we have a strong foundational belief that starts in faith, family, and then business, of course, and how they work together. Yourself and Yet are fine examples of that, and how a really good example of how you can bring your family into it, your friends, and really have fun, and also make a nice life for yourself. And we have the resources and the support at Keller Williams Solid Rock to help show you and guide you through that same realization of your dream.
So I heard you say that one of the primary things of a real estate agent is lead generation.
Absolutely.
And I think for those that maybe have never been in a sales position, most sales positions, especially retail, they'll do marketing for you to bring clients in the door and then it's your job to let them know that they really need that product or whatever.
Sure.
In real estate, it's a little different because I don't believe I've ever sold a house to anybody. I've shown them houses, and when they like a house, then I negotiate on their behalf to get that house for them. But I didn't sell it to them because really, until they tell me that's the place they want to live, I'm not selling anything.
I love that.
Right? There's no pressure involved. But the trick with real estate is getting in front of someone who needs to sell a house or buy a house, and finding those people.
Absolutely.
Is the lead generation piece.
Absolutely. Beautifully said.
Yeah.
You know, to expand on what you've just said there, Ken, it really is, the lifeblood of it is just finding those people who will work with you, people who feel that that you have a connection with. Mm-hmm. Because it is really not about selling so much as it is about educating and facilitating. Mm-hmm. Making sure they have the information they need to make the best, most informed decision for themselves and their families.
And that's what we're doing today, actually. We're informing our listeners if they have any interest in becoming a realtor. We're giving them some information so they can make a wise decision if they decide so. So what's the process like? If, let's say, I'm just thinking about getting into real estate, don't know anything. What's it take to get my license so I can go sell my first house?
Okay, sure. The first step is really to get the authority to sell real estate, and that comes to us via the Ontario Real Estate Association. They are the ones who educate and license us, or they educate us, and we are licensed through the Real Estate Council of Ontario, which is a council that governs us and also helps protect the consumer and brings confidence in professionalism, in the level of professionalism that we have to work under as a group of industry professionals. Okay. So the first step is education, and that's usually done through the Ontario Real Estate Association, and that it comprises of 3 basic courses to get you started. Okay, right. And it's simply stated phase 1, 2, and 3. So they're done in modules, and they can be done for the most part at your leisure. So we've had people go and get licensed within 6 months. We've had people take up to 2 years to do so, depending on the degree of motivation. The one thing I would say to you that is probably most important once you have a license or have a commitment to be licensed is to find a good, nurturing environment in which you can feel safe to learn the practice of real estate. And we call it practice for a reason. You're always learning. It's not a concrete cookie cutter type scenario. And finding the right brokerage, the right family, the right associateship to work under is really paramount. That's the one thing, you know, you and I have talked about this many times, and we really feel that to provide the environment is key.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once you do these 3 courses, and the 3 courses, what roughly do they cost?
By the time you're finished those 3 courses, you're in and around $1,500, which is really, you know, $1,500 to $1,600. And if you think about what the earning potential and the opportunity to start a business of your own, and earn the type of money that folks with 4 and 5 years of formal education at university or college would have, it's really a drop in the bucket. You know, it's a small investment in yourself if you really believe that you have the work ethic and the desire.
And really a short amount of time, right?
Incredibly
so
short.
About $1,500 for the courses.
Yeah.
The courses can be done online,
in class,
and or correspondence
also.
Right? So 3 different ways.
Yeah.
There is an exam after each course.
That's right.
You need 75% pass.
75 is your pass.
Right. And then once you've done that, now there's some associations to join and some stuff, and there's a big chunk of money that goes out then again, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and that chunk of money can, again, comes out to oddly enough, about the same amount of money as it costs to license. And it really, what it does is it buys you membership into the Canadian Real Estate Association, as well as the Ontario Real Estate Association, and your local Ottawa Real Estate Board, in our case.
Right.
Okay. And what happens is that on a monthly basis thereafter, you pay a small fee to the Ottawa Board, and they continue to collect dues on behalf of those other two associations. So the initial cost is a little bit heavier, again, in around $1,500, because you're $900 at your real estate board as an initiation fee. But after that, it averages closer to $100 to $150 a month. Okay?
So that $1,500, that includes your 2-year RICO
That's right.
licensing,
Yeah.
and also your 1-year errors and omissions,
Errors and
and
omissions
insurance.
insurance,
Okay. So
absolutely.
you're covering quite a bit in that $1,500.
You know what?
initial hit.
It's a fantastic value for the protection that you have and the peace of mind that you, as well as your clients, have in knowing that you're being backed professionally and that they are protected also.
Right.
So.
Now, we usually say that people coming out of class 3 just know enough to be dangerous. and basically that just means there's a lot more to learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so the education is set up such that over the next 2 years you need to take 3 more significant courses.
That's right.
Right, to relicense?
Absolutely, and they refer to that as an articling period. Much the same as a legal professional would have. We have a continuing education requirement to sustain a level of professionalism and to also advance the training and the base level knowledge for the new registrants.
And so what does... So I just said they come out knowing enough just to be dangerous to themselves and to their clients. How does Solid Rock, Keller Williams Solid Rock Realty, what do they do to help that person through that transition period?
Sure. Okay. And what we do is we have a system of mentorship which involves us making sure and checking all work that goes out of the office. When you first start in the business, we'll help you with writing contracts and clauses and constructing your offers, as well as giving you guidance through the whole process of lead generation. We have a number of courses online as well as in class, and we're constantly training. We're a training and education-based organization. So on a daily basis, you'll have different classes and instruction going on in our location, in our office, our main office at Antares. And we invite agents to come in and get their basic working knowledge of real estate, as far as what do your contracts look like, et cetera, et cetera.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. So if you're just joining us, you're listening to the Inside Track on Real Estate with the Decker team. And today we have Chris Brown with me. Chris Brown is the manager. He's actually the broker of record as well at Keller Williams Solid Rock Realty. And so he's in charge of helping people through the process of becoming a realtor, succeeding as a realtor at a high level, excuse me, and then also checking and safeguarding the clients and the public with offers and examining those and making sure that everything's tickety-boo, so to speak. Yeah, so that's a very important job you know, a role you play. That's awesome.
I believe so.
Yeah. So if someone's thinking of getting into real estate, and you said people person is important at the beginning of our show, what are the kind of qualities? I mean, you've been in the business 25 years. You've seen agents come and go. You've seen people fall out of the business. You've seen people get in the business and succeed it massively. And I've seen people, maybe you have too, where you think, oh, I don't know if they're going to make it, and that they succeed wildly. And other people that you think are going to make it just don't. And what's kind of some of the deciding factors that make someone successful or not successful in this particular career?
Excellent question. In my observation, it has been just a few things, a few elements, and one key element is desire. Just a desire to succeed, and usually come born out of a need or a passion that somehow, usually, a purpose larger than just making money for themselves. It's usually attached to something that they want to do for their family or friends, or a way in which they want to make a difference. It seems to be, it gives you that extra little bit of commitment to drive through some of the things that you'll be persevering. And I think really, in a sense, it's desire, perseverance, and really having a goal or a dream for yourself. And beyond that, being coachable, growth-minded, willing to learn, open to learn. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I find when you have those three things lined up, you're 3/4 of the way there.
I guess a little bit of self-discipline is important as well, because it's not the kind of career where you go punch a clock.
That's
You
right.
know, like your boss doesn't say, be there from 9 to 5 and I'm going to pay you for those hours and, make sure you're here. It's more show up if you want, when you want,
Yeah.
and do what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And so I think that might be the downfall of many realtors that don't make it, is they don't recognize that they're actually running a business, they own their own business, they're running it, and they need to show up on time, whatever time they pick.
Right.
Set your schedule and work your schedule.
And commit to the time. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's as you said, there's a lot of distractions when you don't have a structured schedule. So as Ken said, really part of the magic is in being really clear on the reason that you're doing this, and then distributing and apportioning your time appropriately to get the end result. And we've really found out that if your key focus is one or two things, as we've talked about, a lot of the other stuff starts to fall into place in and around that. And so as we've talked about before, it's about having your schedule protected and blocking your time and being aware of and being purposeful with the time that you spend in the business.
Yeah, it's easy to get distracted. You can get a phone call, hey, let's go golfing. And you look at your schedule and what's on my schedule? Oh, lead generation. I'm supposed to be looking for clients, but I don't have any today. I don't have anybody to show a house to. I don't have to negotiate. Okay, I'll go golfing.
So let me go golfing.
Yeah. And then you just left the part of your business that was so important, and that was getting in front of people.
Yeah.
Now, unless in the golf game, you're going to talk about real estate and ask for business from those people you're golfing with,
Absolutely.
maybe you can make golf part of your lead generation program.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
could.
well said. Well said, because there again, part of the beauty of our industry is that if you have a clear vision for your business, it can be anything you need it to be. You can use any of your personal interests as a leverage tool to lead generation. So you find your niche, find your passions, and align them up with your business, and you'll have even more fun in pursuit of your dream.
Yeah, I call it blending.
Yeah, I like.
Some of the people I love to sell property to or for is guys that play soccer with.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
We're already in kind of community. We play soccer together, we socialize, and then, it's kind of natural when they know what I do for a living to ask me for advice or to ask me to come and give them a price or do whatever.
Yeah.
And so because of the relationship, there's trust built.
Absolutely.
From that relationship.
You bring that equity forward, right? And you just touched on a key point too. It's letting them know. That's probably the biggest reason that people don't get support from their sphere of influence when they start in the business is they assume that their friends and family know what they do and understand it. And generally speaking, that's not the truth.
Do you know that real estate has more secret agents than CSIS does? Even a little thing like wearing your name tag.
Yeah, absolutely.
So people
because
know what you do.
it gets conversations started, right? And you like you said, don't be a secret agent. Let them know. Be proud of what you do.
Yeah.
Believe in what you're doing. And you'll make a difference. You really will.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So if they're sitting there and they're going, well, I'm on the fence. Might it be the right thing? Might it not be the right thing? I think you hold a great little class right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you have one coming up the third Thursday
Every month.
of this month, right?
Yeah.
Third Thursday, and they can call you
Absolutely.
to book a seat in that little. It's like what, an hour and a half, 2
Yeah,
hours?
it's an hour and a half at the most. It's scheduled for an hour, but it usually takes about 2 hours to get through. We usually have a lot of fun with it, and we get a little one-on-one time, a little chance to know each other. So, and that's almost the best part of it. And we give them an overview, Ken, on what the business is, and what the criteria for getting licensed, much like what we've touched on today. But further than that, we get to give them a bit of an insight or a little look into our culture, our philosophies, and the community that we have as a brokerage of a group of people who care about each other and work hard to help each other succeed.
So if somebody like a no obligation, get some more information on what it's like to get into real estate, what the process is, where do I sign up, all that kind of stuff, this would be a great opportunity for them to go to that.
Absolutely.
And they can call you at what number, Chris?
You can call me at 613-733-3434, and that's the Ann Terry's office, one of 3 offices that Keller Williams Solid Rock has to offer you as home.
Okay. Yeah. So that's great. So they just call, they'll come to that, or maybe set a one-on-one appointment.
Absolutely.
Depending on their motivation or where they're at. Some people listening might even already be doing their real estate courses, or maybe already be a real estate agent working at a brokerage, and maybe they just don't know. They know what they know because they're working at that brokerage, but they've never tasted what it might be like to work at Keller Williams Solid Rock Realty. Could you give a confidential appointment to someone like that, just so they can understand the differences between brokerages?
Absolutely, and as you know, we do that all the time. And if it's something that where discretion is really your biggest concern, we understand and we appreciate. These are big life altering decisions that you're making or considering, and we understand that you need the time to do your due diligence, and you need to feel good about how you move forward. And we're very flexible and accommodating in that. If you have any curiosity at all about what we do and what makes our office so special, I invite you to connect with us, and we'd be glad to spend some time together and share.
Good. So that number again is 613-733-3434. And you can meet with Chris, and Chris will walk you through the process. And, and like I said, there's no obligation. A lot of people are just on a fact-finding mission, right?
Absolutely.
To find out what's,
Absolutely.
So, here, I'll put you on the spot. What's been one of your highlights in your real estate career?
Okay. Well, that's easy. I mean, for me, helping other people succeed and attain their own personal dream. Nothing gives you more pleasure than having somebody come to you, believe in the value that you can bring to them, and entrusting in you with that, and you rising to their expectations or exceeding their expectations, and seeing them amaze themselves with what they can do and how big and how high they can soar. And at Solid Rock, we're lucky that we have examples like yourself and Yetta, and it's a great example of what perseverance, what having a game plan and engaging in that game plan and executing. It's a great example to see how that can play out for you. And you know what? We're lucky that we have people like this to work with, and that their hearts are big and open and willing to share.
Well, thanks for that, Chris.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah, and I actually said that career night was the third Thursday. It's actually
So
the
it's the
fourth.
fourth, isn't
It's
it?
the
Yeah.
fourth Thursday. My mistake. Fourth
okay.
Thursday of each month, we have that little get-together information session. And I think one of the greatest things in that is you can ask questions. And when you're in a small group setting, sometimes the question that someone else is asking is the question you didn't even think to ask, but
Absolutely.
brings so much value to you when you hear the answer to
Yeah.
it. So I think it's very, very valuable to go to something like that.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's like you said, the small groups, wonderful setting, safe, intimate, and you know what? There is no such thing as an inappropriate or as a silly question. Come and discuss your concerns and your desires, and I'm sure we'll work through them, and you'll feel better about your decision when we're done.
That's great. Great. And if you want to see a little bit about the courses that are required, you can go on the OREA site, the Ontario Real Estate Association. If you just Google that,
That's right.
you'll come up on the education requirements for being in real estate. For me and my wife, it's been really the most rewarding career we've ever had. I've been in sales basically all my life, and yet this is where you get to build the strongest relationship with your clients, because you're making huge family lifestyle decisions.
Absolutely.
Quite often for some people it's the largest investment they're ever going to make in one purchase.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And so to develop that trust, that relationship is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and don't you find that the best part of it all is being able to help see people realize their dreams for their family, and oddly enough, at the end of it all, they even compensate us for it, so to make sure that we can take care of our families.
Yeah, we get
too.
paid for it.
So it really is, it's really an ideal situation if you come with a dream.
Yeah, to see the joy in people's faces when you've helped them realize their next step in the next phase in their life by moving maybe from a small home to a larger home, or from the large home to the little home. And sometimes it's emotional decisions. Sometimes very positive, sometimes a little bit negative.
Absolutely.
But those emotions bring you very close
Exactly.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said.
So thanks for joining us on the Inside Track on Real Estate. And today we were talking with Chris Brown about how to get into the real estate industry if you think you have an interest in that type of career. So the best next step is to phone Chris at 613-733-3434 and maybe sign up for an information night on the fourth Thursday of the month. And we'd love to see you out there and just give you information so you can make wise decisions. We're glad you joined us on the Inside Track, and bye for now.